All right, everyone, going to be getting to the top props here for this college football slate, and I will have a timestamp for the early games, mid-afternoon games, and the evening games for you guys, so you can come in and get valuable information regardless of what time it is. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so first things first, I just want to pull up the college football props that we have, and we can see right now the lines are a little bit different than what Vegas has given us for a lot of these. At the same time, we're not getting like very good over bets, like where the Vegas line and the PrizePicks line are the same. Okay, just want to make that clear. We are getting a decent amount of good props, like Sanders there, quarterback for Colorado. It's gonna be a fun game to watch. You could bet the over there. Vegas has slightly bumped his number up a little bit there, but not terrible. But we can see for the most part, the lines are very much the same across the board between PrizePicks and Vegas. So very interesting in that regard. But what I want to do is what I did in the last video is I want to take a peek at this tool right here from OddsJam. Once again, guys, I am partnering up with them. So if you guys want to take advantage of their tools, you get 25% off if you use the promo code 925. The numbers, link to that is in the description below. But looking at it, we want to find the best games to attack with the potential for like an over. And so what I'm looking for are going to be these very high scoring games because obviously there's going to be more points there. There's going to be more production to go around. So we do see that Colorado TCU game might be something that we are going in on. Now, TCU is heavily favored, right, by 20 points. It's still a high-scoring game. We still see Colorado is going to be able to score the football, so not terrible there. We can see Louisiana Tech, SMU, very high-scoring game at 65.5 for an over-and-under like that. I'm not sure we're going to get much Long Island University, Ohio props there, but that'd be a game that we would want to attack. Let's see here. Virginia, Tennessee, that's pretty high scoring. Kind of a blowout, a little bit worried there. Portland State, Oregon, very high scoring game. Obviously, Oregon heavily favored to win there, so wouldn't be a terrible idea to go in on the Oregon players. One game that I like, and yes, I'm wearing a Wisconsin shirt, so that's why, but I think there's a lot of good props out there for Wisconsin, so I'll be touching on that. And man, there's just so many games here, so let's just go ahead and, wow, all right, Southern Florida, Western Kentucky, that's going to be a game that we want. One, because it's closer. The spread is very much closer here, guys, but the over and under is very high as well. That's almost at 70, right? I mean, one of the sports books, Barstool, is giving us that there as well. So, wow, that's a game that we want to be attacking. And then here's another one, Nevada versus USC. USC expected to dominate in that game, but very much a high-scoring game there as well. Yeah, lots of good ones. So let's go ahead and get into it. And so like I did with the Thursday football slate, I'm going to go ahead and do that here as well. So I'm going to sort by NCAA Football and apply that. And now hopefully we can spot some trends with those games that we want to be attacking in terms of, some props that we want to be going in on. And so right off the bat, not really. I mean, maybe the Tennessee one, but we're seeing the under being favored there. I don't like that. Then we got Joey Milton for the over receiving yards there. I don't like that as well. I want to see a similar thought process across the lines there for the game where it correlates. So this is extremely interesting to me that all those games that we want to attack, none of them are like really standing out as the props that we want to be going in on. I do find that fascinating here, guys. So really what we're looking at for the top, few props, obviously at 54%, those are going to be the ones that you want to be attacking. Let's just go through it. So we got Brown here for over receptions at 5 for Kentucky. And so we can see, looking at that game log, I really don't mind that, but it's not something that's going to make people excited to go ahead and play. So if you want to roll with that, you could. Let's take a look at the Ohio State prop that we were getting because I did like this one. This is one that kind of popped in my preliminary research for the over. So in this game, obviously we have Marvin Harrison at 6 receptions. That's probably right. But then we also have his teammate at 5.5. Okay, both of them probably should be at 6. Let's be honest. Maybe Marvin Harrison has a little bit higher opportunity, higher ceiling in terms of like yards and touchdown production. But we know that this is going to be a high scoring game for Ohio State. Like Ohio State's favored to win by 29 points. The over and under for that game is set at 59. So, if we're trying to attack a high scoring game, this could potentially be a way to go ahead and do that. I don't mind that there. And then for what it's worth, if he is going to get 5.5 receptions, that's obviously 5 fantasy points. I was seeing if I wanted to go in on the receiving fantasy score prop. Probably not, just because I don't know, this doesn't really line up. It's like 12 points there for receptions and receiving yards. So they're really factoring in a touchdown being scored there as well. Now, obviously, if he scores a touchdown, I would say this number should be higher, right? If they're saying that he's going to score a touchdown by giving it a line of 16.5, it really should be at 18.5. So it may be a potential edge there as well. All right, and then kind of a little bit of a correlation there. Like if you are maybe trying to stack that game, we do have an Indiana prop there, Indiana player prop there, where you could potentially roll with him as well for over receiving yards there at 32.5. Obviously, if they're playing from behind, if Ohio State is winning, then you could be rolling with that. We actually have a decent stacking opportunity there, it seems like, because on the flip side of that, we have Henderson, the running back for Ohio State, that we can roll with. So let's just actually put those into like a little correlated slip here real quick. And so guys, just if you're not familiar with this is a nice part of this tool that they have, is that it tells you the chance to hit, 17.6% chance to hit, break even percent 20. So you're basically getting a 3% edge here with that bet. Okay, that is what that is telling us. So like if we were to put in like worse bets, and just for example purposes here, scroll all the way down here to 50% and just toss in a couple of these, 3 of them. Sorry, it's the flip side of that. So if this number is lower than the chance to hit prop, then you are gaining an edge there. You know, if the line is in the green, you're going to be gaining an edge there. So that's kind of what you want to be focusing on when you're making like slips like this. But I mean, that's really kind of it in terms of props that we want to be going in on. Like we could potentially run out an under stack here for TCU, maybe, if you want to roll with that. But let's just get into some of the props that are really standing out to me. So by now you guys know that I like my fantasy score props. Let's look at it right now. So we do have one receiver here for Colorado. I know that they are expected to get blown out, but if they are getting blown out, we do expect someone like Xavier Weaver to be someone that can get over 10 for a fantasy score. So that was kind of the first one that really stood out to me. And then it does appear, honestly, that we are gaining maybe a slight edge here with some of the Michigan State players. And that just seems like a low line. Like Michigan is heavily favored in this game, minus 35.5. And, you know, 53 for the highest there. Not exactly a game that you want to be targeting, but at the same time, there is, obviously, they're expected to score a lot. And there is some sort of stacking opportunity there. Like if you want to roll with, maybe the running back, you could. And for what it's worth, like over his past 2 games that he has played, right, really dominated, getting the over. The question mark would be, is he going to get his full kind of snap share that he had last year? That's my biggest question mark. But obviously in a game where they are expected to win, guys, and expect to win by a lot, I can see both of these two happening. Like obviously we don't typically like to stack a quarterback and running back, but I feel like this is a good opportunity for us. And then the question mark becomes, which receiver do we want to pair potentially with the quarterback McCarthy? And then I did find this number on Wilson somewhat intriguing. Expected to take on a slightly bigger role here for this Michigan offense. If you want to roll with that, you know, with the stack, with the quarterback, you could do that as well. Let's roll ahead into this. I do find this line bot for Malachi to be very interesting. We did see that UCF, that game was one of those games that we want to be targeting. Remember, like that is the game we want to be targeting. So this is one of those props that kind of stands out to me. Obviously 24 receiver is a huge fantasy score line. Like we don't like chasing that, but obviously if that game is going to be higher scoring, we do want to be trying to chase that in some capacity. We did see the Arkansas game was slightly a game we could attack. You know, I don't mind that. Let's continue on here. Once again, if that receiver gain is over, someone like Austin Reed could get the over there as well. Like we're trying to find some stacks here. That's not a terrible one, I would say. I do want to find a way to maybe go with USF in some capacity. We haven't been able to find that just yet. Worries me a little bit there. Let's continue on. So this is where obviously Badger fan here. So biased. I'm wearing if I was wearing sunglasses, they would say biased on them, or prescription glasses. The prescription that I would have would read biased. Okay. Looking at though, their quarterback is expected to be in more of an air raid offense as compared to normal for the Wisconsin Badgers. So with that, if he's throwing the football a lot more, one, they're favored to win heavily against Buffalo. But man, I kind of like this, and I like the fact that we could easily stack it. I don't know if I want to go with Braylon Allen. They're probably potential Heisman candidate running back position. I don't know. It kind of feels like a trap thought. At the same time, dude's probably going to get 2 easy touchdowns. And so it really doesn't take much from there. I'm very curious to see how much running back production we see on the ground game. His over and under for rushing yards is at like 90. So that tells us 9 points there. Add on a touchdown. He's going to need to get a few receptions, right? So I don't know. I feel like I would rather go in on like the rushing yards with him. For what it's worth, guys, Sam Hartman, the Notre Dame quarterback, really stood out, I think, in the last game. But let's go ahead and take a peek at the Wisconsin Badger receiver that I really like. So DK here, I think he is someone that really has stood out on film when you're watching, or just game film when you're watching it. Now the stats are not going to say that. Why? Because the Badgers in years past have been very much run heavy. It's no surprise there, right? That is Big Ten football. But if the Badgers are going to be throwing the ball a little bit more, I think one of these two are going to be one of the ones that we want to roll with, whether it be 3.5 receptions or receiving yards. Now, I'm kind of defaulting to receiving yards just because I want to do that stack with the Wisconsin Badgers quarterback. But at the same time, I could see why you wouldn't want to do that. You know, both of them kind of make sense to me. That's a stack that I am going to be running out, but I do admit it is probably a little bit of a bias there. And then just kind of continuing on here, guys, there's a slight stacking opportunity, I would say, with Frank Harris and Cephas here. Not exactly something I'm going crazy with, though. Obviously playing from behind most likely there. So don't want to go crazy with that. We do have a fun game with LSU versus FSU, which is expected to be a higher scoring game and expected to be a close game. So if both of those occur, then yeah, we do have another decent stacking opportunity there. And so, you know, Malik Neighbors we could roll with for the over fantasy score. We'd probably want to pair him with Jaden Daniels then if we're doing that. So that's what I like about football is that, you know, we are able to do correlated bets with quarterback and receiver. And then also on the flip side of that, like running back as well. We saw that with the stack on Thursday night where a team was expected to win heavily. So obviously the running back should get a little bit more work, and we saw that be able to work out. All right, so real quickly, I'm going to give you guys kind of a couple of bets. that I'm going to be going in on. Obviously, we have the early game here. This is going to be going live probably 30 minutes after I do this video. So these are most likely not going to be there for a lot of people. So, you know, what I'm focusing on is going to be more the afternoon. We got, you know, a decent stacking opportunity, I would say there. I love the Wisconsin Badgers one, so let's go ahead and give you guys the afternoon stack, and I'll be giving you guys a late night stack as well. And now here's what I'd kind of be looking at for the afternoon game stack there. I think we get a good opportunity with the Badgers. I think these two are going to correlate pretty heavily there. And then I do like Sam Hartman. I don't know if that's just honestly a little bit of bias from seeing him really do well in the last game, you know, against an easier matchup. It's probably part of that, but we do have another good matchup for him as well. And then I really like this stack. I wish we could get better USF players to pair with that, but we just don't. And man, guys, all right, here is the afternoon slip or the evening slip here. And guys, I love college football. I don't know, a lot of you guys really don't know this. I used to be a college football coach receivers. Okay, had to give that up with the baby newborn that I have. But looking at it here, late night, I want to stack him Malik Neighbors there with probably the quarterback. It's tough though. I feel like that's the best one there. If you want to just avoid that in general, you could. And I don't like that. My favorite prop on the flip side of that is going with the quarterback. It's just a weird one. And then I do like this stacking opportunity there, hoping that game's a little bit higher scoring, and maybe we get some good Houston props later on in the day that we could go ahead and pair with that. Now that's going to be all, guys. Just want to remind you guys of the OddsJam tool that's available. If you use the promo code 905, you get 25% off your membership there. Link to that's in the description below. Also, if you guys enjoyed this coverage, make sure to give a like and subscribe. If you guys want access to my cheat sheet, that's available for just $10 a month there as well on 905sports.com. Link to that's also in the description below. That's all for today's video. Good luck today, and as always, guys, let's keep cashing.